Hey, what's up you guys, the Curious Owl here, and today I am going to show you guys my May TBR. So in April I read a lot of arcs that I had set aside because they were books that were coming out in April, and several of them unfortunately I did not get to, so the majority of this month is going to also be reading arcs again because I have so many that I have to catch up from in April, and then I still have arcs that are coming out this month that I need to read. So without further ado, I'm going to quickly run through them. So I have for my arcs, Song of Songs, A Story of the Queen of Sheba by Mark Graham, Dangerous Curves, Don't Even Breathe, Restorations, The Skin of Dreams, which is a poetry collection. I also am going to be reading Arusha and the End of Time by Brashani Chokski in order to read the next book that came out on April 30th, which is Arusha and the Song of Death. Warrior Prime, Ab 1, TikTok by Mel Sherratt, which came out on May 2nd, Racing Hearts by L.M. Connolly, which is coming out on April 6th, Ask Me Anything by Molly E. Lee, The Policewoman's Bureau by Ed Conlon, and Live Wire Volume 1 by Vita Ayala, Raul Allen, and Patricia Martin, which all come out on May 7th, not April, Banished from Memory by Mary Sheeran, and Counterfeit by Guillermo Valcarcel, which both come out on May 14th. The Dancing Girls by M.M. Chouinard and Dusk and Ember by Robert Jacoby, which both come out on May 15th. Homecoming for the Cowboy by Nicole Helm, which comes out on May 16th. Starship Repo by Patrick S. Tomlinson, which comes out on May 21st. And finally, Genderqueer, a Memoir, which is a graphic novel by Maya Kobabe, which comes out on May 28th. So then in April, I was supposed to read the second book in the Morganville Vampire series, Dead Girls Dance, but I did not get to it because of the fact that I had so much time spent with reading my arcs and stuff in April. So I'm deciding to read that one hopefully in May, and then continuing with my reread series by reading the third book, which is Midnight Alley. I almost wanted to say Feast for Fools, but that's book 4. So Midnight Alley will be the next one, and that is in this bind up of books 3 and 4. So I'm very excited to continue with it because I still really loved Glass Houses, and I just want to continue with this series, and I was so upset that I didn't get to read Dead Girls Dance because I remember that being one of my favorite books in the entire series. So then moving on to my random TBR books that I still have to get to. In March, I was supposed to read Smoke of the Sun by Renee Ahdieh, and I never got to it, and I did not get to it in April. And then my April TBR pick for the month was Jacoby by William Ritter, which I also did not get to because of all the books I had to read in April. Still don't know if I'm going to get to these ones, but I'm going to try, and even if I have to keep adding them on to several months in the future, I'm going to, because at least I will have stuff to read in those other months. And then speaking of random TBRs, I am going to pull a new one for May. I've recently gotten quite a few new books, so I'm very excited, and we are going to see which one I get to. All right, here we go. So this one, A List of Cages by Robin Rowe. So I actually am kind of excited to hopefully maybe get to this one because I remember Emma Bucks talking about this one and how much she loved it because it focuses on two brothers who are separated through the adoption services, and they find each other later and they're trying to kind of reconcile from that separation. And I think one of them has a mental illness. I think it's like either ADHD or OCD, I'm not quite sure. Moving on from that, my audiobook for the month is going to be The Great Alone by Kristen Hanna. I'm currently working through this and I'm a couple hours into it. This is a story placed in 1974 after the Vietnam War, and the main character's father was a soldier in the Vietnam War, and since having come back from the war, he is suffering from what is now known as PTSD. At the time in the 60s and 70s, PTSD was not really a mental illness that was discussed a lot and wasn't really thought of as a mental illness, but the nightmares that he suffers from cause him to heavily drink and have serious outbursts, causing him to be fired from multiple jobs that he has and causing the family to move around to a lot of places. Then, several years after the war, he gets a letter from his war buddy's father who had died in the battle and says that his friend had left his entire land in Alaska for him and they can go and take it at any time that they would like. So hopefully for one last time, this family picks up everything that they have and leaves to head off to this settlement in Alaska and essentially learn how to live in this vast wilderness that they are unfamiliar with that really could kill them if they're not careful. And then the last book that I have on this TBR, if I ever get to it, I do not even know if I will, but if not, I can leave it for my Biblio Games TBR for June, but that is Storm of Swords by George R.R. Martin, the third book in the Song of Ice and Fire series. I am trying to get through this entire series because I know that if I leave the series for too long, I'm going to get very confused. That's kind of what happened with A Clash of Kings between the time I read A Game of Thrones and A Clash of Kings. So I'm going to try to get to this one this month if I possibly can, but I am not going to count on it because I know I have so many other books I'm reading this month that are going to probably take precedence. But if I can get to it, I would like to get to it, but I do not know if I'm going to. So there you guys go. That is a very long list of books I hope to get to in May. I doubt I'm going to get to all of them, but who knows? Things might change. I might be able to get through more than I expect if I really stick to not a reading schedule, but just constantly, you know, keep up with just reading every day if I can after work and stuff like that. But I'm also not going to make it a huge deal because I've realized many times over the last year that reading schedule has just put a lot more stress on me, and I'm really trying to take my mental health more into account this month because I have decided to take a social media break. And the reason I'm saying this now is because as of last night, I logged out of my Twitter, my Instagram, and my Facebook for an indefinite amount of time because I'm realizing that, especially with all these book festivals coming up, and me seeing a lot of people that are going to things like BookCon and Y'all West and all these things, it's making me feel really left out because I would like to be there, but I don't have the financial means to. And it honestly makes me feel worse about myself because I feel like I'm inadequate compared to everybody else. And I've felt like that for a long time when it comes to just people in my personal life that I feel inadequate about. So I really want to just take a step away from social media for however long I need to and just focus on the things that I want to focus on, which are my reading, my videos, and working on my book because I'm working on the rewrites for my mystery novel this month, and I just need to focus on those things that I actually care about and stop being on social media so much because if anything, it just makes me feel worse about myself than I already do. And I just feel like that now is the time to do it because I have so many other things I want to focus on that are going to have much more of a positive impact in my life than anything else. And I just feel like it's about time I do it. I should have done it a long time ago, and you know what? Better late than never, I guess. But anyway, I will still be posting videos on here like you guys know, but I'm just not going to be very active on social media. I'm pretty much not even going to try to touch it. Anyway, if you guys did enjoy this video, please do give it a big thumbs up. Let me know what you are planning to read in May, if you are participating in the Sailor Moon-a-thon or Scallywag-a-thon or anything. I am not because I spent so much time with April with the House Cup-a-thon that I felt like I needed a bit of a break between House Cup-a-thon and the Biblio games, so not going to do any readathons this month. If you guys haven't already and you'd like to be, hit that button down below and subscribe to become an owlet in our flock, and I will see all of you guys in my next video. Bye guys!